Hi there. This is another episode of Treasure Valley Quick Tips. What it is I'm a franchise owner of a Network in Action, which is out of Houston, Texas. I was the first one here. And then by those groups, I get to meet a lot of local high caliber business owners from all different, different industries. And I bring them on and try to share some of their knowledge with the listener. So today, perfect example is Scott. Introduce yourself.
Hey, thanks, Scott. My name's Scott Curtis. I own Even Flow Rain Gutters. We specialize in pretty much all things rain gutters and gutter covers.
Yeah, today's a perfect example is because there's a lot of industries that you go there. How important is that gutters? You know what I mean? And then until you talk to someone who does it for a living, and then you find it out. So start off with like why do we need rain gutters at all for a house?
So rain gutters are important. One, they up your resale value just for the sole fact it gives it kind of like an easy crown molding around all the eaves of your home. That's the looks part of it. The smart part of it would be you're going to save your siding and you're going to save your fascia board from wear and tear. Water is probably one of the most damaging elements on this planet. And so we want to control that water as much as possible, as well as divert it away from foundations. So I don't know if anybody's had, that kind of issue where you have water in your foundation. That's a big issue and can cause mold. It can actually cause your house to sink, which in turn would, mess up framing, pretty much everything that goes along with it. So gutters are really important, especially in, higher elevation areas. People think that snow and ice, you want to divert that away from your house or cabin or what have you. As much as possible. So
that's something I didn't think about, was because I actually know another business owner that does concrete lifting, and he's talked about it before, where people out their sidewalks are all messed up, and it's because they don't have any, like rain gutters. Even if they have them, they're not installed correctly or they haven't been maintained. Right. And they've ran out underneath for could be years running underneath their sidewalk, and now it's just completely eroded and caved in their sidewalk. So yeah, I never. Sorry to interrupt there. When you mentioned it could do the foundation. See, I'd never thought about that, but you're right. I mean, if it's draining off onto your your basement or something, you got mold, or it could hurt your foundation.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, the water is a very damaging component in the world of weather, and really controlling where it goes. And if you have the ability to change something to protect your home, such as putting a new roof on, or updating your siding, painting every 7 to 10 years, right? It's the same aspect of really protecting your nest egg. And when it comes down to it, this is where you spend the most time in your entire life, right? And so you want to do everything that you can to protect that. And most people, like you said, people don't think of gutters until it's brought up or there's an issue. And so it's,
again, I tell you, when I originally was thinking about doing the podcast and bringing you on, I was thinking, what gutters? You know what I mean? What are gutters? And it's just like everybody I bring on. They bring on, like your foundation. It can ruin your foundation. Right. And I thought about, oh wow, I talked to a guy that lifts concrete, and he's talked over and over again about how it's totally wrecked someone's sidewalk out front, made it a hazard, trip hazard. And then me thinking about things, I was out front, and the duh moment hit me when I looked at my house and I went, wow, I love my because this is an existing house I bought, but I love my gutters because they have chains hanging down on them. Yeah. It has curb appeal. I mean, it makes my house look more expensive.
Yeah. Curb appeal is huge. Chains are great. There is, in the right areas. I do believe that there's a good and bad to pretty much everything,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to gutters. If the chain is in, kind of an more open area, not close to concrete or really close to your siding, because you're still going to get a little bit of splashing,
Okay.
and I explain, pretty much you have a round downspout, right? That pretty much controls the water. There's no way for the water to get out. But then you have the chain that is pretty much open ended. And even though the water flows down it pretty good, you're going to have a little bit of splashing. Now,
Right.
that being said, if it's in an area that, a little bit of splashing doesn't bother anything, then I think they look great.
Right.
But the functionality of it, downspouts do work better. And here's an interesting fact as well, is that the chain is actually meant to rust. And what happens when it rusts, the water actually contains a lot better because of the amount of friction that it goes through. And so once your chain is all rusted, it actually will control the water a lot better. So
That's a good, yeah. So what, I mean, when it comes to, like I said, on the chain thing, I'll have to look, because again, these are the type of things, until we talk to someone like you that just, this is your living, you live in this, and
right.
then you just don't think about it until you bring it up. Because I'll have to go out and check, because I think off the top of my head, I think most of them are kind of away from the house. One of them might not be, though. The first thing I thought about was is how cool they looked.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Yeah.
because again,
Chains are more of a how do I put it? More of a look than functionality, but they
functionality.
do.
So what I mean, again, that's why I bring you on here. So what's the new thing now? I mean, to kind of snazz up your gutters.
Um, you know, People are upgrading to leaf guards, and we can touch on that later. But the a lot of people are, they're doing the chain in the front for the curb appeal,
Right.
and then they usually have a downspout. A lot of builders that we're working with will connect it to an internal drain that goes actually underneath the ground. And so essentially, you just see the downspout go into the ground, and then it underground it connects to basically like a French drain system that will drain the water away from your house.
Oh, oh, that's
So that we're seeing a lot of that.
well, and now with all the shortage of water, maybe they can change them to it drains somewhere where you can store it.
Well, so there is so they have rain barrels.
Okay.
So rain barrel is basically, it looks like a wine barrel, and you run a downspout or a chain into the barrel, and you can actually conserve that water. And it's got kind of a spigot on the bottom where you can connect a hose to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah, we do a lot of offerings when it comes to rain barrels. People want to water their garden with it,
Yep.
so they save that water for that.
Oh, that's great. Because like I said, right now in Idaho, and the Treasure Valley, as we know, there's another you know um, possible big time drought again.
Right.
And again, I don't know how much water you can save, but luckily the last few days has been rained all last night, which I'm excited about. But that'd
Yeah.
be good if you could save that water, because then you could not use the city water. You could use the rainwater to water your garden or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, we're on irrigation, and it's cut down probably 60% of what we normally get. And
Yep.
so I I personally put rain barrels up
Oh,
just for
okay.
the sole fact I want to save that water. But yeah, it's a pretty good investment when it comes down to it.
Yeah, over the long term, I could see how it is for sure. Like I
Yeah.
said, rather than just let it run out. When like I said, the last couple of days is a perfect example. Last night it rained all last night, and I live in Canyon County too, and I'm on irrigation. And the reason, not getting too much into this, but I mean they waited a month later to turn on our irrigation, and then
Right.
last year or the year before they shut it off a month early. Didn't really tell us. So more than ever, we got to figure ways to conserve water.
Yep. And
So
rain barrels are a good alternative to that.
that's a great one I never thought of. So what about somebody? I know that you kind of specialize in uh, remodels, updating, and stuff. So what if somebody was like thinking they want to remodel their house and they think, hey, I want to try to give it some curb appeal, and that includes, gutters. And then also at the same time, making sure that what they have or the way they're installed isn't causing damage. I mean, what does that look like when you come out to somebody? Like to kind of help them out?
So I guess from start to finish, we get a phone call. I try to pride myself in communication and getting answers to people. So we get a phone call. I personally usually go out, I take a look, I meet with the homeowner or the builder, what have you. We kind of discuss what situation would be best, and you have your give and take on looks and functionality, right? So typically, we have a 5 and a 6-inch K style gutter. What that means is the K is actually the style of the face. And so if you're looking at a side profile, it looks like a K. And so you have a 5, which is about yay big, and then you have a 6, which is about this big. So that there's a lot of determining factors. The bigger the house and the more roof, typically you would want to go with a 6-inch gutter.
Okay.
At that point, we figure out what style and where we're going to go from there. And then probably, we order material, get it in, and it's probably about a week to 2 weeks until install. On the day of install, we show up, we do what we need to do on the prep side of things. And a full house usually takes about a day and a half, depending on how big it is. So that's usually our process on it's pretty seamless, and it's pretty easy on the customer side of things. Once you're done nagging with me, then we kind of take care of the rest.
I mean, I imagine when you come out to somebody like me, again, until I thought about, bringing you on as a guest, I just didn't think about gutters, In fact, I thought about the gutter that I need you to help me put in the back. I never have one gutter in the back of my house. And I'm like, I don't care what that thing looks like, because it's in my backyard. I don't care. But then, like I mentioned, when I looked at the front of my house, I went, wow, I love my gutters, how do you have like pictures and stuff for people to look at, different types of gutters?
Yeah. So I have a keynote slideshow, as I like to call it. It'll give examples of what style of gutter, why the style of gutter. I have a video of a chain working. I also have, pictures of past work, my contractor's license, and then, all my insurances, all my qualifications when it comes down to it. And then after, depending on which leaf guard, if they go with a leaf guard, they'll get a packet. That packet includes a copy of my liability insurance, contractor's license, and then it'll get a copy of their warranty that comes along with the full gutter system.
Okay. So speaking of that's great. Real quick, a side note, I know a property and casualty company, and I had a person come work on my house, and I never thought of it. He says, you better get proof of insurance because you don't want somebody to get hurt on your property. And I went, wow, because years ago, got a knock on wood here. This is a long time ago, but I had someone paint the trim on my house and they actually fell off my roof. They didn't get hurt though, but that made me think, wow, so that people, again, a lot of this little stuff, it isn't little stuff, but like the insurance and all that stuff is hugely important because you get somebody that just comes out that decided they want to make some extra money in the weekend, throwing some gutters up, don't know what they're doing, and they get themselves hurt. I mean, that's you better have good homeowners insurance.
Right. Well, and here's the thing too is, the running joke is, the chuck in the truck.
Yeah.
Idaho is pretty easy to get your contractor's license. You
But
just
what,
show
50
proof.
bucks?
Yeah, $50. You show proof of liability insurance,
No
and then
experience.
yeah,
Right.
and so you really want to make sure that who you're doing work with is, one, qualified, and two, has the proper qualifications as well as the insurance, the liabilities, workers' comp. You want to make sure you could even go on the workers' comp website. It's the state insurance fund. You could even see if they've filed any claims. You want to make sure that if these guys are going to be on your roof, they're going to be safe, they're going to be tied off, and OSHA compliant. That's really, really what you want to look for. Mind you, the chuck in the truck is going to be a little bit cheaper, but you may be paying for it tenfold in the end.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's really relative when it comes to quality and safety. Maybe it takes us a little bit longer, but we're safe when we do it.
Yeah.
So I really stress safety when it comes to being up on roofs, and making sure that I have the proper coverage, if God forbid if something did happen.
Yeah.
So that's
Cool.
kind of where I come in and show proof. Okay, this is my insurance, right? And then this is my license. This is previous work. This is how we do it, and really kind of give the homeowner every piece of information that they need to make that final decision.
Yep. Yep. That's great. And then real quick, let's get into the leaf guard thing, because
Yeah.
I relentlessly see, advertisements for it and stuff like that. What, I mean, I don't, I mean, I just listen to the advertisements and see them and
Right.
stuff like that. So what is a leaf guard?
So you have leaf guards, right? Every single leaf guard on the market is relatively the same.
Okay.
Right? You have your mesh style, okay, and that's kind of like it looks like a mesh. And then you have your standard, which the holes are about a pin size, maybe a little bit smaller. There's a good and bad to leaf guards, and I tell everybody this, and that's no matter what leaf guard you have, you're still going to have snow and ice buildup on top, right?
Okay.
You're basically filling a hole that is allowing snow and ice to get into it. Mind you, Boise's not very bad when it comes to snow and ice. We get into the higher elevations, yeah, there's issues there, but you kind of have to pick your lesser of two evils. Do you want to clean out your gutters every year, or do you want to mess with a little bit of snow and ice? And when it comes to like remodels, a lot of houses that we're doing have just had a new roof put on, and so a lot of the new roofs, the majority of them have what's called ice and water shield. And what ice and water shield is it's basically a barrier, a water barrier that goes 24 inches inside your warm wall. And so that stops from, back in 17 when we had like the big ice dam, the snowpocalypse.
Yep.
Yeah, it stops all the snow and water from getting underneath your shingle and dripping into your home. So leaf guards, there's a good and bad. Do you want to clean out your gutters, or do you want to, worry about the snow and ice? And I really stress it really depends on where you're at geographically when it comes to leaf guards. So, and there's companies out there that market, well, not necessarily clog free, but never clean your gutters again.
Yep. Heard it.
That's pretty far-fetched. No matter what, if something's sitting on top of your gutters, just like the snow and ice, you're gonna have leaves that sit on top of it.
Yeah.
Right. And if we haven't had wind for a couple days or what have you, right, and it rains, those leaves get wet and then they get heavy. So you still have a tiny bit of maintenance when it comes down to it. But it's not as bad as getting up on the ladder and scooping a bunch of crap out of it for, half a day.
And then real quick on that, if someone thinks they have gutters that are loaded up and they don't want to get on a ladder and stuff, is that a service you provide?
Yeah. So we do a full clean and tune. What that entails is basically we come out, we do an assessment, and then we will clean out all of your gutters. And then we take apart your downspouts, make sure everything's working properly. We reseal all of the corners, all of the seams. And then that's pretty much it. It's pretty painless, pretty easy. We do offer subscriptions. So if we offer a 5-year subscription where we come out once or twice a year, clean out your gutters, make sure everything's working properly. And then obviously there's a discounted price for, the 5-year deal. Whereas, if you were to call us every year, it's a lot cheaper to go with the 5-year, and then it's all on our hands. So you don't have to worry about getting up there or doing any of that.
Yep. Perfect. Well, this has been good. This is a lot of information for me. Again, just shows that, like anything, if you're not really in the, doing it all the time, you don't, you don't really realize the importance of taking care of your gutters. And then going back to the beginning, I never thought about, well, who cares about gutters? Well, they can ruin your foundation. And now in Idaho, houses are, average house is, $549,000.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's something where you want to take care of your foundation.
Well, and another thing too is, really making sure that, your gutters are working properly. If you think you have an issue, give us a call. I do free inspections. It wouldn't be, above me to come out and tell you that your gutters are working great and you don't need anything.
Right.
So that's another thing that, I don't mind doing on that end.
Well, awesome. Hey, appreciate it, Scott. We got the two Scotts here today. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you if they want to reach out and chat with you? Have you possibly even come over and look at their gutters?
Yeah, so you can give us a call at 208-921-6801. That will give you the best opportunity to get a hold of us. Okay. You can also visit our website. We do a kind of a client portal on that, where you can send us an email, and that email goes directly to me, which I check, probably every hour on the hour. So
okay. Perfect. And I'll make sure I'll have all that in the show notes under on the podcast. That'd be good. So hey, I really, really appreciate it, Scott.
Yeah, thank you.
Education on gutters, and again, showing us that the importance of taking care of your gutters.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Hey, thank you.